When it comes to America's greatest living songwriters, a lot of people would probably point to Bob Dylan, Randy Newman, and, they'd be right. Both are great. Both have long careers. Both have written a lot of great songs. Many of them as well known as any part of Americana over the last 50 years. You might also mention Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, maybe Billy Joel, maybe Brian Wilson, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, Burt Bacharach, John Mellencamp. I'm talking living songwriters. But for my money, I'd point to Paul Simon as one of the best. He owned the 70s charts and radio airwaves, and a big part of the 80s as well. In the 70s, he released only 3 albums. This one, called Paul Simon, it had things like Mother and Child Reunion on it, Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, a great song called Duncan as well. And then in 73, I believe it was There Goes Ryman Simon, Loves Me Like a Rock, Kodachrome, both really big hits. But in 75... he kind of broke through to number 1 with Still Crazy After All These Years, which had, of course, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Good one. Gone at Last with Phoebe Snow. Still Crazy After All These Years. I think My Little Town, which was also a reuniting with Art Garfunkel for a song. That was a pretty big hit as well. So, like I say, he owned the charts and radio airwaves. In the 80s, he released Graceland in 86 after a couple albums that didn't do a whole lot, but Graceland sold millions, brought him back around to everyone's senses in the radio airwaves again. Hi there, this is Tim Patterson, Trade Show Guy, and this is Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee for April Fool's Day 2019. No fooling. I admit I've never been good at practical jokes. I do love them when they're good, though, but, no joke, just me. I'm the author of a couple of books, Trade Show Success, 14 Proven Steps to Take Your Trade Show Marketing to the Next Level, Trade Show Superheroes, and Exhibiting Zombies. And I just, a couple days ago, got a notification from Amazon. Both these books are available on Amazon. It's my best month ever for selling books on Amazon, which is weird because I don't promote them at all. I just give them away to potential clients, and on occasion I mention them here on the podcast and stuff. But they're available as paperbacks as well as Kindle downloads. So, So why did I mention Paul Simon, especially with the way he dominated the airwaves in the 1970s? Because I'm going to talk a little bit about airwaves in this particular podcast, radio and TV airwaves. I'm heading to the NAB Show this coming weekend, the National Association of Broadcasters. I'll be there for just a couple of days. It's a 4-day show. I think I'll be there for 2 days, maybe 2.5 days. And even though this is a bit of a preview, I've looked online and looked at the website. I've gotten tons of press releases from them. I'll tell you why in just a minute. I'm really not sure what to expect, but I'm excited about going for a couple of reasons. One, I was in the broadcasting industry from the age of 19 till my mid-40s, full-time. That was my career. After that, I became more of a volunteer the last 7 or 8 years at a local station. I do a reggae show every Monday night at KMUZ, and so I volunteer for that a couple hours every Monday night. Check it out online, kmuz.org. So I'm still in radio, still get behind the microphone. So radio is a great love of mine, great career. I had a lot of time in it. The industry changed a lot in the 90s, which is one reason I got out. I didn't want to be a gypsy, and so many people I knew in radio just kind of traipse around the country. They work 3 years here, they go 4 years there. I didn't want to do that, so I spent all my broadcasting career here in Oregon. So anyway, so here's how that whole thing came about me going to this show, the NAB show, which is in Vegas. Last fall, I got wind of a potential interview subject and topic. I think it was Mel at Classic Exhibits who sent me a link to an article about NAB Show Cares, which is a way that the NAB Show has been doing a lot of work with their exhibitors to make it easier for them to exhibit, especially when it comes to all the costs involved. I actually did a long interview with it. It took me a while to get the interview. We finally sat down. I sat down with BJ Enright of Trade Show Logic. I'll have a link to that. We did the whole story in the interview, which was posted in January. But during that back and forth with NAB and tracking down people, one of the guys there said, "Hey, do you want to come to the show as a member of the media?" And I said, sure, I guess. But, I do a lot of blogging. I do podcasting. I do video blogging. But, I have a trade show exhibit company. So is it okay? And he said, yeah, you can blog about it. You can do whatever you want. So come down. Anyway, so I got invited to the show. They approved my press pass. So I'm going there as a member of the media, which will be kind of fun. So what is the NAB, National Association of Broadcasters, as far as the show goes? Best I can find, there's over 1,700 exhibitors. I was curious to know about the attendance, so I did find this bit. In 2017, there were over 103,000 attendees, so there are a lot of people spread through those exhibitors. Just to contrast, the show that I did earlier in March was the Natural Products Show. 86,000 attendees, 3,500 exhibitors. So anyway, so here's what kind of things, if you look through their site, you'll find topics, products, exhibitors focusing on acquisition and production, content creation, display systems, distribution and delivery, industry resources, management and systems, post-production, and radio. So be curious to see what kind of new tech stuff is there. I'm sure I'll drool over a lot of it and not understand most of it, but it'll be fun to go there. So main goals really, first, see the show itself, because I've never been. Even as a broadcaster, I never got to go. Second, talk to exhibitors about the NAB Showcase program. I'm hoping to get some of them who are involved with how that works and how they're logistically approaching it, because it's supposed to help them. And I want to find out how it is helping them and get them to discuss it on camera if that's the case. And I don't know why it wouldn't be. We'll share some of those here on this particular program. That's kind of why I'm going to the show. Beyond that, as I mentioned, I'll drool over a lot of tech gear, and I'm sure I'll have no idea how a lot of it works, but a lot of it I'll go, man, I need some of that. I'll meet a lot of people, meet a lot of exhibitors, probably give away a few of those books that I mentioned. That I take a few with me, so just, we'll see what happens. That should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, I'll be there just 2 days. Trade show tip of the week comes from a blog post I did earlier in March called "What to Watch for Walking the Trade Show Floor." I'll put a link to that on the show notes as well. So, I thought, well, since I'll be walking the show floor, what do you look for? Well, so when you walk by a booth, I always like to look for the brand and the image. Is it well represented? Are the people in there smiling and greeting you? Are they not pushing themselves on you but making themselves available? Are they asking good questions that engage? What about the booth itself? You think it's made out of sustainable materials? Is it important that it is? Is it part of the message that the company is trying to get out there? Maybe, maybe not. Look to see what new products they have. Are they having samples? Are they easy to reach? Are they doing demos? Are they easy to engage with? If they have a professional presenter, is it obvious that's the case? And is there a schedule for the day's presentations easily available? The booth itself, is it clean and sharp and crisp? You see, maybe ragged edges. Is the carpet spotless and brand new looking? All these things suggest stuff to you and help you determine what your impressions of the company will be. Is the company giving away promotional items? If they are, is it obvious? If they have some sample-like things on display but are not for giveaway, is that spelled out? I've seen that before. These are not for giveaway. These are display only. Are they looking to collect business cards in a fishbowl? I see that still on occasion. I wonder why, because they're not leads. They're just people trying to win stuff. What is their lead capture strategy? Are they talking with people? Are they engaging them enough? Or are they just trying to scan a badge and figure that will be enough? Day 2, day 3, if you're there that long, look for places where the booth might be getting a little, garbage might be stacking up a bit. Personal belongings spilling out of a storage area. Are they taking care of that? And also I like to look for things like stories and teamwork. People engage with stories, and the companies that best tell their stories will be the most memorable. So what stories are the exhibits and their products and the people in the booths telling? As far as teamwork, is the booth operating as a team? They just seem to be there, they just show up, or are they dressed in some identifiable, same color tees, for example, or are they just in typical work clothes? Can you tell who's a staffer and who's not? So I'm always curious to see what I find when I walk the show floor. It'll be fun to do that next week as well. And to wrap it up, this week's One Good Thing is a book I'm reading called We Cast a Shadow. It's a really astonishingly good book. I think it's a debut novel by Maurice Carlos Ruffin, set in kind of the post-racial modern South. It tells the story of a very black man, one of the few black men at his law firm, who is desperate to pay for his biracial son to undergo demelanization because he thinks it'll fix what he sees as his son's fatal flaw. I mean, My goodness. I'm only about 2/3 of the way through, and I'm reading it on my wife's recommendation. She said it was one of the best books she's read in years, and it is pretty stunning, even at the 2/3 point. I'm sure it's going to have a great finish. So that's it. It's called We Cast a Shadow. That's it. Have yourself a great week, and we'll be reporting from NAB Show here in the next couple of weeks with some video.